sometimes I feel a bit sorry for Harry. I think he's very much because he's on the outside. It's very much because of the things that he's done wrong.
And he's cut off, isn't he?
And he's cut himself off. But then again, he was advised by his own father to think very carefully about what he was doing, and you make your bed, you lay in it. That's it.
I think you've hit the nail on the head there, and it's something that I've touched on in the past, in the fact that when he was working member of the royal family, he had so many mentors. Yes. He had so many experts talking to him, saying, well, if you do this, sir, you might want, not petulant, but you might suddenly want to do this, you're impetuous, but if you do this, these are the repercussions. We advise you not to.
Consequences.
Yeah. Now, who's telling him? So he shouldn't have done that BBC interview earlier this year. That was completely wrong. They should have advised. They're now reaching out, as we know, the balcony meeting. The press teams are kind of, reaching out and talking to each other. It always worries me what advice Harry is receiving. Who is his private secretary? The equivalent of a private secretary. Who has the experience to know that if you act like this, the royal family are going to act in return?
It'd be Meghan, I would have thought. But
Matt, I totally agree. And even going far back, writing the book Spare, clearly the publishers aren't going to say to him, don't do this, because they want to make money from the book.
A Netflix director might now be advising on how he should act. That's the dangerous part.
Absolutely. But it's the quality of the advice. It's what you touched on. When there are people like Lord Guy, or there was David Manning, or there was Jamie Lowther Pinkerton. These are people that have got great breadth of experience
and gravitas
in government, in military, and all sorts of areas. And I think that he had his moments, Harry. I remember that he once went to. If I remember right, I was told he went to the intelligence services and started giving his views on how the war in Iraq could be handled. And they said, well, thank you very much, Captain, but that's a bit above your pay grade. So you've had that. And I think even Prince Andrew is said to have done similar things where they start, giving their views, and the military are quite good at just putting people in their place, saying, well, that's your rank, and we've got generals and field marshals are dealing with that, and strategists. So I think that Harry has always been a difficult person to advise, but his advice was always a lot better in the past when he was inside the tent.
I think one thing we haven't touched on is the link between Prince Philip and the Captain General of the Royal Marines, because obviously Prince Philip was Captain General of the Royal Marines. That was a title that Harry took on, that he then had to hand back when he left, and I'd imagine Prince Philip would have been furious about that when it happened.
Yeah, I'm sure he was. Yeah, absolutely. No, without a doubt he would have been, because of course he took over the Duke of Edinburgh, Prince Philip, from the King George VI. Right. So so that was a very serious role, and and it was all over within 3 years, wasn't it? So.
It's a complicated issue because we're talking about titles and we're talking about complicated relationships within a family.
He and Meghan had such an opportunity to achieve quite a lot.
And there was such goodwill. I mean, I worked the former Archbishop of Canterbury at times. I was there at the wedding, and the atmosphere. Well, you must know the atmosphere there was absolutely extraordinary. There was so much goodwill from everybody, from the household, from the church, and it is deeply sad, I think.
But there was opportunities missed. You know, I mean, particularly when you hear that, you see, Harry would have been perfect to be alongside his father at the VJ commemorations, 80, because. He had served on the front line twice. He would been, he had a great camaraderie and a great connection with troops. Even now he does. Yeah. And I think both he and Meghan, in terms of the Commonwealth, could have achieved an awful lot. Yeah. But there's an opportunity missed, and I'm not really sure. And he must be looking back, because you get a sense in there of the humanity of the guy, that it's a genuine feeling about this, that he would really want to be there.
Totally, I totally agree.
And he's not. He's in Montecito with his wife, around the kitchen table, talking about jam and sprinkles. I mean, it must be infuriating. You can't even
you do that?
I don't know. No.
Tricky question before we move on. Could you see in the direction of travel with this all talk of reconciliation and stuff like that, could you see a situation where Harry returns to events such as this?
Not currently.
Maybe the next event he'll return to would be, state funeral. I just don't see it. No.
Okay.
Yeah. Not because we heard from himself, didn't we, in his interview with the BBC, or his rant with the BBC, that his wife and children are not safe here. Yet they're safe in a country where, you can go on people have got guns on the streets. But he's made that position incredibly clear that he doesn't feel his wife and children are safe.
Well, we're going to get Harry over in September, remember?
Yeah, but not with Meghan and the children.
With Meghan, yeah. Well, it's going to be.
I mean, you never know. I mean, that would be interesting. I think it'd be quite a busy time for you because you would be World Child. World Child becomes incredibly well known whenever he comes over. Yeah,
and we'll be covering it all. I'm sure. All journalists.
He's not here at the same time as President Trump, is he?
Week before.
Okay.
Yeah.
That would have been an interesting.
I don't know if that's official yet, but I'm saying it's a week before.
I doubt they can fly in on Air Force One together.
Yeah,
I don't know, given what President Trump has said about him. Yeah.
We'll be talking a lot about this in coming weeks, the Trump visit and Harry's visit. Now, what do you think about this? Have you seen the story about the King portrait? So if you come into our office like you did today, when you come into our building, we have the official King portrait. I think the picture was taken by Hugo Bernard. Is that
yes,
the one?
Wedding photographer.
Yeah, so we have that. I might be wrong with the name on Hugo Bernard. I'll have to check that. But the picture was taken to commemorate. This is
in his uniform.
In his uniform, and it's there for all public bodies, government agencies, even job centres. Can have a picture of our monarch, and we have one at the front of our office. So there's a story saying that more than 46,000 public bodies have turned down the chance to have a King Charles portrait. And more than 2.7 million was spent, because they're free, if you want one, taxpayers are paying more than £2.7 million to send public bodies these portraits. We have one. If you had a public body or an office or a company, would you have a portrait of the King?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. But you would not expect me to say anything different, would you? But I don't know, is it a sign of the times? I don't know, do people have their chairman as photographs or portraits in lobbies? I don't know, is it...
I think that things are changing, yeah. And, will there be an Ailsa Anderson carrying out the picture of George's baby?
There's only one Ailsa Anderson, Rob.
Or a figure, a person replacing you in that position, carrying out that on... Probably not, when George has his child. They might do it. You might be something out of Star Trek.
I was going AI.
The AI.
Serious note though, Rob. 46,000 public bodies said no. Do you think it's do we dismiss it as a sign of the times, or do you think does that show any lack of affection that the public have for the King?
I think a lot of people got a lot of affection for the King, but one must always remember cost. And I think that, we live in times that, a lot of people are struggling and they, might not necessarily think this is the thing to have. But it seems a bit sad to me because, if they would have had one of the Queen, then they should replace it with the King.
Yeah.